Time now for an in-depth look at the market action this afternoon, and for that I'm joined on the line by Dr. Kim Seiwan, Professor of Economics at Ewha Womans University. Professor Kim, thank you as always for coming on.
Good afternoon, David.
Now, as we just heard, the Fed pretty adamant that it's going to keep interest rates at almost zero for next year and the year after. Now, tell us about the decision and what it means.
To summarize what Fed Chairman Powell said Wednesday, central bank has no plans to raise interest rates and committed to supporting economy following the shock caused by the pandemic. Here, it should be noted that his speech has both of good news and bad news. Good news is, of course, there will be 0% U.S. key interest rate by the end of next year. But the bad news is economic recovery takes longer than expected.
Right. He did say it would take some time. Now, despite the promise of low interest rates, the indices on Wall Street were down for the most part, except for the Nasdaq, which continued its recent gains. What's the story in the global markets?
Due to mixed signal from U.S. Fed, Dow Jones and Nasdaq moved in the opposite direction on Wednesday. Dow Jones Industrial, where major manufacturing companies are enlisted, decreased by 1%. But Nasdaq, where high-tech companies are listed, increased by 0.7% on Wednesday. Particularly, Nasdaq positive gain is driven by high-tech leaders like Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and so on, because it is widely accepted that businesses of these corporations are expanding even over and after coronavirus pandemic.
Now, here in Korea, the KOSPI, the main index, seemed unsure this morning, briefly turning positive before closing this afternoon down almost 0.9%. What happened there?
As concerns on ongoing recession, both in global economy, in Korean economy, and uncertainty of the market, domestic market declined today. KOSPI decreased by 1.1%, and KOSDAQ decreased also by 0.8%. In both markets, domestic investors bought stocks, but there was a huge sale from foreign investors.
Yeah, now in other news, there seems to be a consensus growing among international organizations like the IMF and the OECD that the Korean economy will shrink this year. Some are saying that makes the government's outlook seem a little too optimistic. It's still calling for slight growth. What's your view, Professor Kim?
In April, actually, IMF has released Korean economic growth forecast as negative 1.2%. And yesterday, OECD, the Paris-based international organization, predicted Korea will have negative 1.2% growth this year, under assumption of no further mass infections take place. But OECD predicted that if Korea is hit by second pandemic, it will contract by 2.5%. Actually, according to OECD's report, economic contraction of Korea is less than peer economies, advanced economies, because of Korea's successful strategy in containing virus spread. Korean government, I think, still maintains a positive 0.1% economic growth for this year, but I believe sooner or later, government will update economic growth with negative figure.
Yeah, and speaking of the Korean government, its fiscal health has taken a hit with all this going on. There's talk now about further spending like universal basic income, a second round of relief payments, and other cash benefits. What do you think about these ideas and the state of the public finances?
Basic income, in which a certain amount of money is paid to all general public to cover minimum living expenses, has become a major topic of debate between ruling and opposition party politicians today. But I'd like to say that this is a very crucial issue that determines the whole welfare system in the future. therefore, there should be enough discussions and experiments on this matter before implementing basic income policy. For example, to finance basic income, it is necessary to reshuffle all current budgets on low-income people and socially weak people. Then it is very possible that the support on these low-income people will be weakened under basic income plan.
That's an interesting point. Professor Kim, it's always great to get your insights. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you very much.